What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another one of my YouTube videos. I'm Aiden. If you're new here, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe down below. Let's try to get this channel to 150 subscribers by the end of the year. Let's get into it. Like I said in the last video where I was talking nonsense, I started this book right here, White Nights by Floyder. Very, very good book. Again, I said it was going to take me like a week to read. It took me like 4 or 5 days, whatever. Very good book. Gave it a 4 out of 5 star on Goodreads. I'm going to put my Goodreads somewhere up here, but overall I thought it was a very interesting book. Has a nice love story, if you will, about depression and loneliness. So I am gonna, spoilers ahead a bit, I'm not gonna go too into depth because I'm not, I guess, the most articulate about these kind of things, but I thought this was a very good book. It was a very easy read. Again, like I was complaining about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that one was a bit tougher to read, especially for a classic. This is a very easy classic to get into, and the things it talks about, it's almost like very real, because again, this book was published when in 18 something, so it's a long time ago. We're in 2024 now, so yeah, so let's get into it. There's gonna be some spoilers, so if you haven't read the book, go ahead and click off or whatever. It's not gonna go too into depth, but you have two characters. You have the narrator, who is the book is about, and then the female, which is Nateska. I don't think I said that right. I think it's a Russian name or whatever it is, so that's on me. But two people, they meet on this bridge while the female is crying over something because this man has left her far past, and the narrator, he's a very lonely man. He's 26 years old, been alone his whole life, hasn't had love, doesn't have friends or people in his life that he can talk to and stuff like that, and he's trying and searching for love because no female is giving him his chance. So he goes and he's walking wherever it was at, and he sees her at this bridge or bench, and he starts talking to her and stuff like that, and then they get chased off, or he tries to talk to her, sorry, that's wrong. He tries to talk to her, and they get chased off. This man starts chasing the girl, and he chases after her as well to make sure she's safe. And they have their first conversation. And by all means, this happens in 4 nights, everything. So it's very interesting about how they meet and talk and everything they explain about their life and how lonely everything is and how lonely they are. The female gets into it about, I think after the second night, you hear her story and how she's been attached to her grandma, and that she's like pinned to her grandma and stuff like that, which is very sad and lonely because she can't do anything on her own because she was a troubled child earlier, is what it says in the book. But they have an extra room in their house. This logger comes, he's younger, the grandma is blind also, so she can't see, so she asks the girl if he's a good-looking man, is he younger, and that kind of stuff, and she says yes. And the grandma says, don't get any thoughts about none of that, I didn't bring him in to marry you or none of that. But you know, days go on, whatever. The logger comes in and asks a question while the female is pinned to her grandma, and the female is trying to go to the other room to grab something, and she forgets to unpin herself. So she's very embarrassed when she gets up and she pulls, and the logger can see that she is pinned to her grandma and stuff like that. And then after that, it gets to the point where the logger starts feeling bad, and then he talks to the female, Nateska, for like a night or two, and then he asks her if she wants to go to this theater to watch a play. She says she can't because of her grandma, so then they all have dinner together, and the man asks the grandma, and the grandma accepts, and they, all three of them, because again, she still has to be pinned to her grandma, they go on this to the theater, and they do this a couple times. So Nateska falls in love with this logger, and then he says he has to leave, and Nateska wants to go with him, but he says no because he's poor and he doesn't have money. But he says in a year's time from now he'll be back to marry her and all that stuff, and they'll fall in love and all of that. So he leaves, and then we get to present pretty much. Skip the year, whatever. They meet, the narrator and Nateska meet and it's all fun and games, right? They're talking everything. He thinks he's found the woman of his dreams until she explains what happened and why she's upset. And the reason she's so upset and crying is because he was supposed to come back that day and he hasn't came back. It's been a couple days since he was supposed to meet her. So they talk about how lonely they are and all of that, and then I forget who, one of them says they love each other and all that good stuff, and then they get into this big argument about it or whatever, and they get to the point where they both like each other, but because Natasha is still waiting for the logger to come back, she doesn't want to give up on him. She gets to the point where she's very close to giving up on the narrator, but not the narrator, the logger, but she doesn't get fully to that point. And then in the last scene where they're supposed to be meant for each other, the narrator and Natasha, of course, like any easy book or movie to figure out the ending, the logger comes, she leaves him, the narrator, for the logger in a split second. She comes back, gives him a kiss, leaves. It's very heartbreaking, especially when you think you put your all into someone and then they just leave you like that. And let me see if I can find it, because she writes him a letter after. Sorry, I was not fully prepared for this video, I guess, but she writes him a letter. I'm gonna read the whole letter, so sorry if my reading's bad. Oh, forgive me, Natasha wrote me. I beg you on my knees to forgive me. I deceived both you and myself. It was a dream, a phantom. I have suffered torments about you today. Forgive me. Don't blame me because I haven't changed in the least towards you. I said that I would love you, and I love you now. I more than love you. Oh my God, if only I could love you both at the same time. Oh, if only you were he. God knows what I would do for you now. I know that you're miserable and sad. I've hurt you, but you know, when one loves, an injury is soon forgotten, and you love me. Thank you. Yes, thank you for that love, because it is stamped on my memory like a sweet dream that you remember long after waking up, because I will forever remember that moment when you opened up your heart to me like a brother and so generously accepted the gift of my shattered heart to protect, cherish, and heal it. If you forgive me, then the memory of you will be exalted in me by a feeling of eternal gratitude. To you that will never quit my heart, I will keep that memory alive. I will be true to it. I will not betray it. I will not betray my heart. It is too constant. It returned so quickly yesterday to him to whom it had always belonged. We will meet, you will visit us, and you will not abandon us. You will always be a friend, my brother. And when you see me, you will give me your hand, won't you? You will give it to me. You have forgiven me, isn't that so? Do you love me as you did before? Forget me. You won't be angry that I have written about him, but I want you to come and see you with him. You will love him, won't you? Forgive me, remember, and love your Natasha. My reading's pretty bad. I need to be more fluent, but bro's getting friend zoned pretty much. It's tough out here in the streets, but but I think that's a very good part of literature, and the letter of the loneliness and him thinking you love someone more than they actually truly feel about you, because you never know what someone really feels about you. And it's tough at the end of the day, regardless if this is a friendship, lovers, and all of that. And then it gets to the point again, let me see if I can find it, where he talks about moving every single day. And so it says, I am now exactly 15 years later, only older, in the same room, just as lonely, with the same Maritonia, which is I think the lease owner's name, who hasn't grown any wiser in all those years. So he's been stuck in his loneliness 15 years after that happened, because he couldn't get over it. And that's just like when you blink your eye and then next thing you know, you're 40 years old and you haven't tried to achieve your dreams or anything like that. So I think this is a very good book to read. I know I talked a lot of nonsense, but this is my first book review, so stay tuned for more. I'm going to show you guys what I'm about to read next, but I think this is a very good book, interesting read. If you have time, it's only going to take you a day or two to read. It's only 112 pages. There's a second story in it called Bobuk, go back and it talks about people being dead and after living in the afterworld and waking up after they've died, but that story wasn't as good. I really liked the White Nights, I think is what it's called, is what they called it. Yeah, White Nights. That first story was very good. It's about 87 pages and it really gets you. It's an easy, super easy read. It's easy to follow and I think it makes a lot of sense. Like, even though it's from the 1800s, I think it makes a lot of sense and it's easy to connect to now, especially with social media and all that stuff. You think you like someone and you hope they like you back, but they really don't. They have this other person and they go to that because everybody always has these kind of options in the back of their head. So you never fully know what someone truly feels about you, and you'll never know how someone truly feels in themselves, because at the end of the day, you only know yourself and you don't know what is going on with anybody else but yourself. So I think it's a good book. I recommend it. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. But this video is getting a bit long. I don't want to keep yapping your ear off. But the next book should be fun. It is after Halloween. I mean, I'm recording this before Halloween, but by the time this video comes out, it's gonna be after. And there's no way I'm gonna finish this book by Halloween, because today's October 29th and Halloween's in 2 days. So there's no chance I finish this, but I'm gonna read Dracula, another classic. I think after this book, I'm gonna get out of the classics. We'll see how hard this is to read. It's a chunky book, as you see, about 440 pages or something like that, I think. Let me see. Oh, I'm wrong. Oh, shoot. 475 pages, so it is a bit chunky. Hopefully I have it done sometime in November so I can make another review. And then I got a couple easier books to read, so it shouldn't take as long. But yeah, I think this might become more of a, I mean, like I said, I want books, fashion, and music to be part of my channel, and I think I just want to yap a little bit. So I really enjoyed this. It feels good to just talk to the camera. I'm sorry if I'm getting sentimental or whatever, but I've been enjoying reading lately. So pick up a book, any book, it doesn't matter. I think this is gonna be good, especially live in Oregon. It's always dark, rainy, gloomy in the fall. It's gonna be November. It's gonna be a perfect time to read this. I know it's not Halloween and spooky, but it's still the same kind of vibe to me. But that's gonna do it today. Pick up a book, read something today, whether it's a page or 100 pages. Read something today, you'll enjoy it, and do something that is tough, because I'll tell you, if you do something that's hard today, tomorrow will be easier. That's all I have, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.